Language. You might not like, although everybody pretty much speaks English here and can be understood, you might not like the fact that people are talking around you in a different language. Is it their fault? No, it's actually our fault. And again, one of the coping mechanisms for this is learning the local dialect. Are they talking about us? Yes, sometimes they are. And sometimes it's pretty interesting to hear what they're saying. So that might be a problem for some people, because again, when you go out, people aren't going to be speaking English all over the place. They're going to be talking their local dialect first, and then they prefer Tagalog, which is Filipino, the national language, and then English. Another thing you might not like about the Philippines is the healthcare system. There are not automated external defibrillators everywhere you go. Sometimes there's not access to medications that you need. I have never had an issue with the medical system here. I only have good things to say about the Philippines medical system. But I hear other expats talking about that, the lack of ambulances, 911, all that stuff. But again, we're going to talk about how to deal with that, or how to cope, or how to manage that in the next video. Another thing you might not like is the food. A lot of people say Philippines missed the boat when it came to Asian cuisine. Yeah, if you're pulling off in a Carinderia at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when they made this stuff at 6 o'clock in the morning and it's been sitting in those stainless steel containers since then, percolating in the heat, it's probably not going to be that good. But once you find the places to go, or you know somebody who knows Filipino who knows how to cook, your whole view on that will change, trust me. The only downside to Filipino food that I see is there's a lot of fat and there's a lot of sugar in it. There's also a lot of carbs with the rice, and there's not much vegetables usually. And again, in the next video, we'll talk about how to deal with that. Poverty. In the West, in these first world countries that we come from, we don't see poverty right in our face 24 hours a day. In the Philippines, you will see it. You will have beggars coming up to you. You'll see street kids sleeping on cardboard if they're lucky enough to have cardboard. Otherwise, they sleep on the concrete. You're going to see people really suffering. The social net that we have in the West doesn't really exist here. So that's really tough to see, and you might not be able to deal with that. A lot of people have a big problem with that. And that's something that unfortunately exists in the world, but it's something that we have a hard time processing because we haven't had to experience it ourselves. There's also a bunch of things that can kill you here. We have box jellyfish, which kill 18 to 25 people every year. We've got the biggest python in the world, I think that's ever been captured. We have the largest saltwater crocodile in the world that ever got captured. We've got all kinds of poisonous snake, poisonous spiders, huntsman spiders, all this stuff. I don't like the spiders. I'm okay with the snakes. And I haven't seen any saltwater crocodiles yet. But some people might have an issue with things that can kill you. If you're from Australia, just disregard everything that I said, because you guys have it's really Jurassic Park out there. Another thing you might not like about the Philippines, believe it or not, is boredom. If you don't have something to do, if you don't have a passion, if you don't have a purpose, you might get bored, and you might be like, I can't believe I'm in this, this tropical semi-paradise and I'm bored. You got to have something to do. And we're going to, again, in the next video, we're going to talk about how to deal with that. Crime. Some people might not like the crime. I haven't seen the crime, because I lived in the inner city of a major metropolitan area for many years, and the crime here is a lot less than what I experienced in the West. But if you're living in the suburbs, if you're in a pretty much crime-free area, there is a lot of opportunistic crime here. You're seen as a foreigner, you're seen as being rich, and you will be targeted. A lot of opportunistic crime takes the form of break-ins, breaking and entering, pilferage, larcenies, those type of things. There are murders here. Sometimes Westerners get murdered, but most of the time it's Filipinos, and a lot of times it's drug-related and crime-related and that stuff. And finally, the last thing you might not like about the Philippines is the scammers. And I don't really understand this one this much. Guys will, a lot of times come here because there are beautiful young women available, and they'll get into a relationship, and then they'll get scammed. And they'll get all upset. And I don't really understand this, because we're basically coming here as foreigners from the West, from first world countries, and we're utilizing our leverage to hustle, you know, women above our station, women above our means. And then when we get hustled in return, we get all bent out of shape about it. But some people might not like the fact that, yes, there is a lot of poverty here. There is a lot of pressure placed on children, sons and daughters, to provide for their families. And sometimes that takes the form of being scammed and being hustled. And some guys don't like that. And that's something that you might not like about the Philippines. A lot of it is pretty much common sense stuff. It's not like the Nigerian scams and all that stuff. It's right in your face. And a lot of times, the guy getting scammed, the guy getting hustled, has a lot of opportunities to see it, but they often don't take it. All right, so this went on way too long. We're at 14 minutes. Sorry for that. In the next video, we're going to be talking about some of the ways. I'm going to break that down into 2 parts. Some of the ways to deal with these 15 issues. Some of them are more effective than others. I'm also going to be asking people, our subscribers, because I know there's a number of people who have been in the Philippines a lot longer than I have, how you deal with some of this stuff and how you compensate for some of these perceived deficiencies. So that's about it. I've babbled long enough. This is Ned over at My Philippine Dreams, and we'll see you next time.